Hello, everyone. Cheshire the Cat on the scene with the first trial of the Rise from the Ashes case. I'm guessing it's Rise from the Ashes because it's a phoenix. A phoenix! I feel like my homeboy's gonna slap me for that pun. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there's still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Manga. Hey, Asku. I wasn't talking about you, but I'll take it. Ah, wait. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they're suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself.
Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way.
Huh. Also, hey, Asku, how you doing? I require the cheese. Wait, I thought I was all alone in here. The little girl followed me in. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. So that's your type. Ugh, I hate my phone app, Twitch. It paused and I didn't notice. Oof. However, she will now pay for the rashness with her life. There was a witness to the crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Let me get some juice too. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Why does she get this music? Why does she get the April May music? You ordered the caviar for lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It's too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty, it hurts. I'm allergic, sir. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us.
Prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating.
Hurry it up!
Hey, don't blame the man for eating. He wants to go in and have a snack. He can go and have a snack. The man just wants his lunch. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
Uh-huh. What exactly does that mean?
Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective.
Oh.
What? Starr was a detective?
Ah! Aha! I know who you are.
Cough Up? Cough Up Queen, Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Starr.
Just who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot of the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks.
I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes?
Crime took place at a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was the valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor.
That's a little too convenient. And it makes it all the more curious as to why Gumshoe wasn't out there. If she was a witness, why would she be the one to draw up a floor plan and actually call out the crime? That's a little too convenient. Witness, did you see something at the very moment of the crime?
Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
Seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright?
I can't agree on your principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr.
Wait, are they talking about me? Listen, lady, I'm not into getting stepped on. I'm into breaking, not getting broken. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend.
That late in the day?
When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw Chief Prosecutor standing out of the garish car. Chief Prosecutor was holding a knife in her hand. Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend? How touching.
As you can see, there's no room for doubt.
The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw as being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed?
I'm still thinking about that.
It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Yeah, hold on. There's got to be something here that doesn't add up.
Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. Press everything! How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy.
The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted.
Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Star, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one.
Played off? Okay, hold on. We have a motive.
To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I'm a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless.
Very well, you may continue, Miss Starr. Okay, we have a motive right there. Not to kill the person, but to frame someone else for it. Another lunchbox to my boyfriend.
Hold it.
This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard.
That boyfriend? You have several?
Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join?
Oh my god, honey.
The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants.
I'll stick with the lunches, thanks.
Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there.
Lord Sugar Baby, Tommy Mommy.
That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finally honed detective's intuition at work. You sensed something? You're saying you had a premonition of the murder? Maybe a premeditated murder? It felt like, how would you say, oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds.
I have no idea what that means.
Speaking of detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese.
A young cheese.
A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn.
Then I must be hard-yellowed and sharp as a tack.
Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. I wasn't even reading that, I was just thinking that out loud. In any case, there in a lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw Chief Prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean... Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes.
Mr. Edgeworth's?
Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed is also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it?
Indeed, it was. Man's more like blue cheese. What an odd case this is. Meanwhile, Edgeworth is like, people keep fucking with my shit. Why? Why must people keep fucking with my shit? And the person you saw, are you sure it was the defendant?
I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed.
Let's do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick.
Ow. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside.
That was inspiring.
You know, I did this all the way back in case 2, but, Mr. Judge?
Nice car. Perfect.
Edgeworth just wants to remain in the closet with only one person to bother him.
I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. Could you say, you could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to Lilliput and Lunch Lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? Oh, God, that is not okay. The moment I witnessed the crime, the reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck.
Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph now?
You think I'd show it to you? A prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs.
Well, this most certainly is the defendant.
Uh-oh. Unmistakably Lana Sky. So what was the defendant doing at this time?
Oh, that's not good.
The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all.
Yes, that's about right.
Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor.
So the defendant was holding a knife. What then?
Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into the Detective Goodman's chest.
Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point.
Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, I was already too late.
Too late?
Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon.
I see.
It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it.
Said that before.
Anything else?
Scientifically speaking, Mr. Starr's testimony is flawless.
Sounds pretty fatal to me.
What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty?
Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? Isn't having her panicking next to me makes me calmer.
Don't smile like that.
Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. Delivered the lunchbox to the boyfriend. When I sent something, perhaps it was my finally honed detective intuition.
Every time she says a flesh wound, I think of Monty Python. Yeah, I think that's the point.
Intuition at work. Garish car.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Do we have a photo of the car?
No, there she is in A.
Can I investigate here?
Alright.
Wait a minute. Hold on, let me see that again.
That's blocked off by a wall. If she would have been over here...
Would she have seen it? Because that wall's in the way.
Not to mention, the other cars are blocking right here as well, so if she was to see... Well, no, I guess that is a bit of a stretch. Ah, dang it.
The oil drum isn't knocked over here either.
You're holding a knife in her hand.
Wait. She's not holding a knife here, though, and there's no body. And you witnessed this.
You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch.
I'm sure that's a fine lunch.
Something. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not?
Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife?
Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, right? What do you mean, Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. It was taken the moment after the stabbing. And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. See the dark crimson stains on Chief Prosecutor's coat? I mean, it's in black and white. It could just be some barbecue sauce. But it's a black and white photograph. She was just standing there, barbecue sauce in her teeth. Sorry. Ah, yes, a bit hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you.
Mr. Wright, are they going to just sit here and take that kind of abuse?
Ah, you got a better idea? I still say objection. That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go.
Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice.
I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the Chief Prosecutor's hands on the photograph. Well, are those gloves? Yeah, but she's... Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? Because they were transferring files. If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. Ah! Except she was going to be moving delicate information. Let's do tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. Hold on. Yeah, no prints. Alright, 2 loss of blood. 1 knife wound. Ugh. Dang it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? These gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind you use for autopsies. Why wasn't this provided to me? In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. No, there is more. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. It's got them thinking it was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. Gotta think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only if flesh would stop. We know this. This day would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. Sense something, perhaps as I finally honed Detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw Chief Prosecutor standing next to a garish car. Something about that doesn't sit quite right with me. And the rubber gloves prove it. Wow, to fucking delete my account for everybody. I'm so sick of these killers. Damsel in distress. Oof. I'm sorry. I find it unfortunate that they are finding toxic players when I've been finding good ones. I've been finding generous survivors lately. Now
I can't play for 6 hours. Oh, what? Someone reported you?
Again?
Is evidence when the defendant... Well, why don't I see them? Oh, we saw all this. This day would come. I'm gonna try something. Why do I deliver lunch when I send something? Through the wire fence, Chief Prosecutor's garage car. Crap. They aren't, are they? Ugh. There's a Chief Prosecutor standing next to the garage car. Let's prove it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Did she say anything about him dying instantly? Let me see that again. I just knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. Sent something, perhaps it was my finally home to take his intuition to work. I saw Chief Prosecutor standing next to a garage car. The murder was planned, and the rubber gloves prove it. Darn it! Ugh. I feel like if she'd said something about him dying immediately from being stabbed, because it said it took him a while. Somewhere between 4 and 5:30. That's a big time gap. Maybe the autopsy. That's what I'm thinking, but... I'm gonna try it. Oh, shoot, I went too far. Maybe? Nope! Clearly... Shoot! At least not here. Wait. If that's the case, how would she have... No? Wait, if it was premeditated, why would she be using the knife? I feel like I'm skipping a step, because clearly, if this was premeditated at 4, Miles didn't show up until well after 5. So the victim would have already been stabbed and bleeding before that point. So how would there have been blood on his knife? The knife! Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell lunchboxes for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, the red car, all belonging to... What is the chief prosecutor just right?
Oh, your prosecutor's bad, people.
The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, You stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. There we go. That's what I needed. The knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. There we go. That's what I needed. Order. Order! Great. Now the tide is turning in our favor.
Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free.
No. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. Yeah, she's sweating bullets about it. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else.
Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now.
But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned.
If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing...
I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again.
Witness, please tell us only what you saw,
not what you thought.
How dare you?
My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? She's trying to solve the crime. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman.
That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim.
Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge a knife in again and again. There's the autopsy. He was only stabbed once. So summoned to the office. It does sound a lot like a premeditation, doesn't it?
So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy?
In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. There's our hole. All right. This guy intended to kill Detective Goodman. That's why she's out of the way of us. I'm sure she's read that machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Except she only stabbed him once. She stabbed him again and again. And she said that during the questioning too, that it was there was a rhythmic stabbing. But you couldn't have witnessed that.
Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. Try my moss surprise.
I'm afraid that moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this. But take a look. The autopsy report states that the death was due to loss of blood from one stab wound. You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk. He's my hero, really.
What about my objection? No one noticed? No? Alright, fine. Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood on her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
This is falling apart. Tell us what you saw that you thought was blood.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was.
Wait. Wait a minute. Her coat isn't red. If it was red, it would appear a lot darker in this color. Plus, then the blood wouldn't show up. Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
What?
He's taking all the credit. The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler or any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself. With this photograph. Huh? But that can't be! Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly useless. Congratulations, perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails!
I'm the one pointing things out! What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there! A scarf! No, not that, but something red! Really! Well now, where were we? The witness had given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. Important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. The next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Here we go. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to the side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about the scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and I bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self. Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. No okay. Chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. Like a leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Miss Wright. You may cross-examine, if you will. Something doesn't add up. Run behind a partition off to her side. So where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall right next to the car. What, like she ran around it? Because if she would have been apprehended around here... That's right. There was a wall there, 6 feet high. Except it's a water tank. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. No, I've got proof against that. When you say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. On the opposite side of a chain. There's our hole. Yeah. Oh, no, presser. No. Go back. So suddenly she's an A block. I'd like to see this on the floor plans just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes? Is that correct, Miss Star? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing, the cough-up queen, lunch lady, and athlete. But that fence goes all the way up the wall. Would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet. Oh, I guess it isn't touching the ceiling. Oops. Feet high, too. So how did this guy not get away?
She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say?
If I remembered exactly, I would have told you in my testimony.
Cheeky.
Anyway, all I heard was the word muffler.
In the muffler of a car? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else.
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
She can't mean...
By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene?
Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately. My memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see.
No, the court doesn't see, Miss Star.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
Well, that's right, the phone was broken. Or there was an emergency phone on the wall.
Apparently it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone. Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day.
Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
Honey, trust me, you could try anything that crosses your mind, but I doubt anything you do would pleasure me.
The word muffler was heard during a call made to Emma at 5:18. I saw it all, how she tried to put the phone on the wall. I had to use her cell phone instead.
How would she have known that the phone was out of service? Time to clip. What? Ah, I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one more time, so listen close, rookies. Chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. She then picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order.
How would you have known that?
So she pulled her own cell phone out of her pocket. How could you see all this? And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. And then I boldly grabbed her arm. Chief prosecutor hung up her phone.
And you saw her doing this.
What is it, Mr. Wright? Need to escape, but against angel resistance, it's futile.
She made to escape.
Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté foie gras.
Huh?
She even kicked over an oil drum at me.
An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that?
What's that?
If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? Yeah, to the exit.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent! More mysteries.
I wish you could solve a few before finding more, though.
So Miss Guy tried to run. Why my sister's so suspicious, Mr. Wright?
Not as sorry as I am.
But she didn't do it! You have to believe me! Suspect attempted to run to a partition off her side. Her and arrested her on the spot. Here she mentioned the muffler. I saw it all, how she tried to use her phone on the wall.
How could you?
Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye.
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias.
Well, who would have thought that you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago.
Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this?
I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up.
Let's look at the floor plans.
You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true,
You couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the backside of this partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it.
Order! Order! What is the meaning of this?
It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie the witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about... Maybe not what she saw, but where she saw it. This guy tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie? I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. Different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I had ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? You've heard up until now points in one direction. She would have been in the security office. This is the only place where she could have been. Security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot.
She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone.
No. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition wasn't here. But then she wouldn't have been able to take a photo. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr? How many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr. You goddamn right. You're welcome.
Order! Order! Witness? What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better.
I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to ensure justice prevails. Guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make any sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. Except she couldn't. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. How would she have been able to take that photo? The truth still stands. No, it doesn't. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
Just tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
Who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the entire security... ran for the security guard station. But she lied about... lied and said she saw it from B block. This must make a vital difference, but what? What would it change? The angle of view to the crime. The angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle?
What do you mean?
Well... the security guard station is on the second floor, and, she would have a sort of... She would have sort of a more 3D view to the crime.
And this is important. Why?
Perhaps you'd like to reconsider, Mr. Wright? Crap! Oh, I was so bent on that. That sounded right.
Okay. Security guard station. Line since she saw it from B block. But what? Won't change. The distance? It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. My condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plan and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see. What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take for her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? Yes? Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Quality of my lunch has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch to my fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. So it would have taken a while. She would have had to go all the way around. That really changes things. So I had to go through the visitors parking lot in B block.
That's quite a detour.
Probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime.
5 minutes? That changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it! I have photographic evidence! I swear it! I swear it on my finest plastic spork!
You have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Don't bribe the... Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Don't bribe the judge!
That's right, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Come on. Seeing the murder and the arrest, think about it. You can make pasta in that amount of time. If you like it al dente. I got lunchboxes that tie pasta into nuts, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor?
Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone.
But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was very different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable.
Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. The witness has a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth is the next witness. Ready to go?
Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. You did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close.
I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. I'm still taking the caviar. Oh.
Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's when she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence.
What was that?
It's another one of her trick lunchboxes.
My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr.
Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox?
Woohoo! Triple decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony.
Bruh.
I just noticed the clip is called The Things I Do for Love. Let's hear about this decisive evidence.
Like Lunch and Motto says, you won't be disappointed.
She's gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time.
I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One, of course, was the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
What? There was blood found on the shoe?
Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Oh my god, get out of here, honey.
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself.
And you had blood tests performed?
Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics.
In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence.
What?
You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being.
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating.
Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce this official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth.
Why would it be approved today?
Is that right, Mr. Wright?
It seems so. Edgeworth's looking pretty sullen.
You could at least study some evidence law. Really?
Prosecution's complaints are notwithstanding. It appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness.
Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged.
Shoe added to the record. I'm sorry, Mr. Editor, and I'm sorry to my chat, but I'm going to take a very hot second to order some food because my roommate and I are starving. Oh, I'll be right back.
Trying to be friends. I'm trying to be friends with the Wraith.
Maddie wants to be friends with the Wraith in the
Yo,
basement
Wraith,
so
how
we
you
can be
doing?
happy.
Wraith,
Maddie, are
how you
you
doing?
idiot?
No, Wraith! Wraith, hold on. Hey, I don't know.
What is wrong
Wraith,
with you?
Hold on. Wraith, no. Wait,
Can
we're
someone
friends,
clip
right?
that
We're
from my
friends.
stream? Can someone clip this? He doesn't know what to do.
We can be friends, right?
Oh my
We can be
God,
friends.
can
Oh fuck,
someone
we're not
clip
friends.
this?
We're not friends. He's gonna put me on a.
Made it to a hamburger, damn it!
Possess the body, Roy.
I still say process. Turn it into a goddamn hamburger. We don't need it walking.
Can someone clip
It
that?
needs to be the main attraction.
Can someone clip
Process
that,
the body.
please? Process the body. All right.
Yes.
Later that night. I mean, hey, at least I didn't fall for F4. Okay. What? What? I got run over by my own sea moth. I got run over by my own sea moth. Okay, that just happened. Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Keep away! No touch!
Who ordered all this fucking anime titty?
Welcome, Chichi. I'm the great fairy of magic. Like I'm not not trying
Well,
to be
that was
rude.
a waste of my special skill. But it worked.
Oh, cool, a tail.
Start here. Splash some water on your face, buddy. That's what I do. What you say to me, you little shit?
Is that a zombie riding a chicken? Is that an Enderman? And two creeper? Oh, this is not gonna end well.
Bowden.
Shames. Nope.
A few moments later.
Mary?
James.
That was too well timed. Poor Blub. Hogwarmore sneaks off when everyone's busy. He leaves, taking nothing, not even his personal supplies. There is a note left behind, wishing everyone luck. So Final joined just to leave! What? What? Can someone clip that? Oh. What in God's name is this boss? Yeah, Elefante, I'm gonna catch you up on what you walked in on. This boss can lower my level, raise my level, negate my Dragoon form, heal itself, do an unlimited amount of magic, which...
A few moments later.
Shut up.
Hey, run, we run. Hello, Chess. Hey, Rain. How's it going? I've been turned into a bean.
At the making.
Well, I get...
what you were getting yourself into.
So am I spanking Roy? Is that what's happening here?
It's baby.
You're more than...
Sorry, you have my approval.
What?
See, I don't know what I sound like. I'm not gonna know until I...
Okay, I've got dinner on the way. Editor, cut back in. Now.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Also, hey Crazy, hey Wolf, hey Zuma.
Decisive evidence. Okay. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene.
So why didn't you? Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? Oh, I wish I could just hit space so I could do this with one hand.
I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results.
The results?
How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my very own eyes.
Hold it! You forgot to wipe before you left the bathroom! You're already back in it. Yo, slams desk.
Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing.
It actually means a lot.
Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, and erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book.
This when the suspect is admitting she did it? But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Almost as despicable as this caviar, which, by the way, you've let age for too many days. Let's just get this over with.
And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up?
She's not necessarily wrong. No, she isn't, and that's the biggest problem. But I think this is more like if I can prove that her opinion and testimony are biased, the whole thing falls through. And it becomes irrelevant.
And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive.
Why isn't there oil on the shoe?
So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe.
After all, she doesn't remember 5 minutes, and in that time span, she claims not to remember. Slams desk, points accusingly. She forgot to wipe her two-coated ass.
Oh, Chad, I love you. And someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon, if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunch boxes, gentlemen.
She's guilty of not using proper hygiene.
I'm happy for you and your lunchbox bag. Really.
In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did next.
2 types of blood were found in the shoe. One, of course, was the victim's.
So you brought it to the forensics department.
If you're going to submit something as evidence to the court, you need it proved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert.
And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Oh god, I rest my case. She is guilty of not using proper hygiene. The punishment? 5 years gulag and being forced to march her smelly butt back to the bathroom and clean it properly before the case resumes.
Well, the man was stabbed after all.
And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman.
As I said, there were 2 types of blood found on the shoe. The other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Skye. You can't say for sure that the blood belonged to the defendant with the blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh. Well, speak up. Well... Blood comes in 4 types. A, B, O, and AB.
Technically, it comes in 12 types, but we'll get onto that.
However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood.
8. 8 at least, yeah. Positive and negative. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow down any sample blood down to 1 person.
Yeah, because when you're checking the hemoglobin, that's checking the person's DNA. Whoops.
Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results.
Huh, hold on.
But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies. Is that hermagoblins? Ew, I don't like them. So the suspect blood was found on the victim's shoe. I love goblins, they're adorable. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. I can't let this evidence go through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. This is short stack cup. That's right. Do you or don't you have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? There is a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Shows the problem with the evidence. Right here, on the bottom. I wonder if you noticed, there's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. You'd like that, wouldn't you? I want to see my smexy lady beloved in a Goblin Girl cosplay now. I'll be right back. Oh dear. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about the blood being on the bottom of his shoe? On the bottom of his shoe. Her shoes are clean. Legit throw to a person in the courtroom. She needs to really rethink what she said. Yeah. Where's the blood on her shoes? The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Oh, that's not what I was thinking, but okay. As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor. So there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and they're found nothing of the sort. Order! 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 Well, witness? What? Huh? Great going, Mr. Wright! But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh. That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Get bent? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint of truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. Chief Prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside and kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Wow. I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. So let me see here. I mean, in real-world logic, in anime logic, she can blow up the whole courtroom as long as the protagonist, antagonist, judge, and person on the stand are unharmed. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness? Well? Was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes. The suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason alone.
To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her.
Oh, God. Oh, that's not good.
That ties things up quite nicely. Bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her clearly to the murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me. This guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe.
Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial.
Mr. Wright! Do something, please!
What? What can I do?
Your sister's confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But...
Enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor? Very well.
But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water.
This court finds the defendant Lana Skye.
Hold it. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution's side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well... I thought you had your fill, but here you are, demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called Evidence.
Well, wait. Just don't tell me you have something else. The time for deliberations has passed. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court.
Your threats don't scare me with the cough-up queen. Look at this! A photograph? I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim.
I see no room for error in this evidence.
It's right, wait! Look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet! Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not. Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end.
This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. So I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Hang on. She was talking about a muffler. There was something inside of it.
Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? It's like we're in an anime or something. Whatever it is, can it wait?
No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we get each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright? Are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah! I'll think later. Yeah, there is a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this.
I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. To jab judge one you don't do proper anyways. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph. The muffler, right here. The problem is in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor. You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf in any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system. A pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? Huh. So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Everything. The judge ought to have been fired. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright had on his mind. Tell us why you think the piece of cloth in the muffler is related to the case. Why would it have been related to the case? Crud. The shoe! The cloth would have been used to wipe off any kind of blood as well. Well, Your Honor, how do you feel about that? Actually, I don't feel well at all. I have this pounding headache. No, I meant what do you think about the... The headache is you, Mr. Wright. Oh, no! The cloth was found in the car's muffler, right? Muffler. Where have I heard that word recently? The phone! It's the phone. Oh, God, I jumped the gun. Let's look at the photos, too. Miss Starr! You recall your testimony for the court? Yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means the piece of cloth is vital evidence. Please let that be the end of it. I've only got one more shot left. Oh! Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once and bring me that cloth. Verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew! That was close. But we made it. At least for now. The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. He's still hungry? To be continued. Oh. That was ridiculous. Save your progress at this point? Yes. I don't think I've been that close to losing the game in my entirety of playing this. Ooh, Nelly. Alright. For the folks on YouTube, this is Cheshire the Cat signing off, and I'll see you in the next investigation. Take care.